Imagine this. A CEO steps onto a stage, beams with pride, and announces their company just slashed its workforce by 20%. But the room doesn't gasp. It applauds. Why? Because in today's world, smaller headcounts are often seen as a badge of efficiency. It's a sign of progress. Artificial intelligence is reshaping industries, automating tasks, and yes, replacing jobs. But this isn't just a story about machines taking over. It's a wake-up call for American employees to step up, adapt, and thrive in a rapidly changing economy. I'm exploring why CEOs are celebrating leaner teams, how AI is transforming the workplace, and what you, yes you, can do to stay ahead before automation knocks on your door. Let's start with why CEOs are so proud of shrinking their workforce. It's not about cruelty or cost cutting for its own sake. It's about survival in a hyper-competitive global market. Companies are under pressure to deliver more value with fewer resources. So when a CEO announces a smaller headcount, they're often signaling to investors, shareholders, and competitors that we're lean, we're efficient, and we're future-proof. Take a look at recent trends, though. In 2023 and 24, tech giants like Google, Meta, and Amazon laid off thousands of workers, not because they were failing, but because they were optimizing. For example, Meta cut 21,000 jobs between 22 and 23, and its stock price soared as investors cheered with newfound efficiency. Why? Because these companies are replacing repetitive, low-value tasks with technology, specifically artificial intelligence. Remember when Elon Musk bought Twitter? After acquiring Twitter in October of 2022 for $44 billion, Elon Musk significantly reduced the company's workforce. At the time of the acquisition, Twitter had approximately 7,500 employees. But by April of 2023, Musk confirmed in a BBC interview that the workforce had been reduced to around 1,500 employees, a reduction of about 80%, or roughly 6,000 employees. This figure includes both layoffs and voluntary resignations, as Musk issued an ultimatum for remaining staff to commit to an extremely hardcore work culture or leave with a severance package. I was reading a bunch of comments on LinkedIn, which actually started this whole discussion. I wanted to bring up this one from Travis O'Rourke. He's a president, an AI for Humans advocate. So I don't know what that is, but AI for Humans advocate. He's the president. But he says, all right, the business equivalent of pulling blocks out of a Jenga tower and calling it streamlining, sure, it can reflect lean, efficient operations. And yes, optimizing profits is arguably the biggest part of a CEO job, but you must build without the wobble. He goes on to say, it's a bit like designing a spacecraft with just enough fuel for maximum thrust. It is brilliant when it works, but there's zero margin for error. End quote. All right, so I'm looking at this too. Understand the jobs in a company are fluid as well. So you can basically hire and fire. You can increase or decrease the amount of people. And sure, if he wants to say it's like a Jenga piece, all right, well, guess what? You can start putting Jenga pieces back in there if you need it. I look at it this way. You're trimming the fat. You're getting rid of the rotten wood and all the other things that employees maybe don't get along or have problems with HR, let's just say, or other problems. But you get that company, say, all right, let's get rid of the extra waste and put it down. I know we're talking about people's lives, so I'm sympathetic to it, but at the same time, get rid of the people that aren't producing or at least going in the same direction that you want the company to go with. So pull the pieces. As long as you have enough fuel to get to where you want to go, I think we're okay. Replacing workers with machines isn't new, though. The Industrial Revolution replaced manual labor with machines. Today's AI revolution is doing the same thing for white-collar and service jobs. CEOs aren't just cutting the jobs, they're reallocating resources to innovation, growth, and profitability. Smaller headcount often means a company is leveraging AI to do more with less. And in a world where margins are tight and competition is global, that's a necessity. Not basically a luxury. But let's be clear about this. This isn't about vilifying CEOs. They're responding to market realities. The real question is, what does this mean for the American worker? Okay, in my own situation as well, and let's just say early 2020, okay, I had one full-time employee, which was fantastic. I had a part-time employee, and the reason she was part-time, because she has children. She dropped the kids off in the morning, come to the office, and then be gone about 2:30, and able to pick them up from school. It was great for her. It was great for us. March 2020 rolls around. If you remember that day in infamy, is basically that's the day COVID. And they said, hey, we have 2 weeks to stop the spread. Okay. So I told my employees, hey, you know what? I understand. By the way, there's so many government perks for being on unemployment and being laid off because of your job. I basically said, hey, number one, go home, be with your kids. I'm firing you because there's not enough work to do. Okay. But also, you're going to get unemployment. And after the 2 weeks is over, I will hire you back and we'll just continue going like normal. That was 5.5 years ago now. I mean, now I'm taping this August 1st, 2025. And it's like that was over 5 years ago that happened. And it was like I never replaced them. I still don't have any employees at this point. Why? Because I was able to automate everything. I basically was able to upload, get new programs into our system, and I'm not working as hard because I'm not acquiring new business as much as I used to be doing to build my business. But at the same time, I don't need it because I get residual income. And without getting into my industry, my stuff, but I basically can do more with less and I don't need employees. So I love those two women. They're awesome. They're amazing people. Kind of lost touch over the years and I'm kind of sad about that. But at the same time, I know they're doing well, but that's what I did personally. So am I a bad person because I'm the CEO of this company? Am I a bad person because I don't have any employees? I got one other notice from LinkedIn too, talking about this one guy. He says an economy is about providing people with opportunity, not just wealth for shareholders. When I hear a company is providing fewer people with a livelihood, it's inherently less valuable to the economy. So that's Wesley Holmes. He's working toward a clean energy future. So what I'm looking at his is, okay, you want to have employees just to have employees so that you can better the economy. Well, Wesley, that's not exactly how that happens either. But artificial intelligence, though, it's no longer science fiction. It's here, and it's transforming the workplace at a breakneck speed. AI can now handle tasks that once required human effort, like data analysis, customer service, content creation, even creative tasks like writing and design. For example, in customer service, AI-powered chatbots handle millions of inquiries daily. Companies like Zendesk report that their AI tools resolve up to 80% of customer queries without human intervention. In finance, though, algorithms analyze market trends faster than more accurately than most human analysts. JP Morgan's Coin platform, for instance, reviews contracts in seconds. Work that once took lawyers thousands of hours, even in the creative fields. Look at what Midjourney and ChatGPT are producing for art, music, and marketing. And basically, they're rivaling human output. The numbers tell a story, though. In 2023, McKinsey report estimated that up to 30% of current jobs could be automated by 2030. Now, again, that was 2023. We're talking 7 years from that date in 2030. But with roles in administration, manufacturing, and retail hit the hardest in the United States, that's millions of jobs at risk. White-collar workers aren't safe either. Tasks like data entry, basic accounting, and even some legal research are being handed over to artificial intelligence. Now, AI won't replace every job outright, okay? Often it augments roles, taking over repetitive tasks so humans can focus on higher value work. But here's the catch. Not every worker is ready for that shift. If your job involves routine tasks, whether it's filing reports or answering emails or assembling parts, AI is likely coming for that. And when it does, companies won't hesitate to streamline. This isn't doom and gloom, it's basically reality. And the same McKinsey report predicts AI will create new jobs, just as the internet did in the 1990s. But those jobs will demand new skill. They will require critical thinking, creativity, emotional intelligence, and technical expertise. So the question is, are American workers prepared to meet that demand? And let's talk about the American workforce. The U.S. has long prided itself on innovation and resilience, but there's a growing concern that employees are falling behind in the global race. Countries like China and India are investing heavily in education, upskilling their workers from AI coding to data science. Meanwhile, many American workers are coasting on outdated skills or expecting job securities with adapting to change. Heck, most kids right now want to grow up to be a social media influencer, which is ironic because you're watching me on social media. But anyway, here's the hard truth. AI doesn't care about your tenure or your loyalty. It's a tool that rewards efficiency. If you're not actively improving your skills, you're at risk. Yet only a fraction of American workers are taking on proactive steps. Whether it's learning to code, mastering data analysis, or honing soft skills like problem solving and adaptability. And hey, how about learning a trade? AI can't replace a plumber or an electrician because so far, AI doesn't have common sense when looking at a bunch of tubes or wiring and trying to figure out how to cut the least amount of drywall. So what can you do to avoid being replaced? First, embrace lifelong learning. The days of learning a single trade and coasting for 40 years are gone. Take free online courses, get a library card, find a mentor and apprentice until you understand what you are doing. Second, focus on what AI can't do yet. Okay, skills like creative strategy, emotional intelligence, and complex decision-making are still human domains. If you're in sales, for example, double down on building relationships, not just processing orders. And third, get comfortable with technology. You don't need to be a coder, but understanding how AI tools work in your industry gives you an edge. For instance, marketers who know how to use AI for analytics and for content generation are far more valuable than those stuck in traditional methods. Finally, cultivate adaptability. The most successful workers today are those who can pivot, learn a new tool, take on a new role, or embrace change without fear. CEOs aren't the enemy here. They're navigating the same disruptive landscape you are, but they're betting on AI to keep their companies competitive, and they're not waiting for workers to catch up. The onus is on you to prove your value. Where do we go from here? The AI revolution is both a challenge and an opportunity. Yes, CEOs are proud of smaller headcounts because they signal efficiency and innovation. And yes, AI is replacing jobs, especially those who are repetitive and low skilled. But this isn't the end of work. It's the start of a new era. American employees have a choice: resist change and risk being obsolete, or embrace it and thrive. So start today. Sign up for that online course, experiment with AI tools in your field, talk to your employer about upskilling programs. Many companies like Amazon and Walmart now offer free training to retain talent. So above all, adopt the mindset of growth. The future belongs to those who adapt, learn, and innovate. AI is here, and it's reshaping the workplace. CEOs are leaning into it, and so must you. Don't wait for your job to disappear before you act. The American worker has always risen to challenges, whether it was the industrial age or the digital age. This is your moment to do better, to be better, and to secure your place in the AI-driven future. And hey, if you enjoyed this, I would appreciate it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Basically comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if your job is going to be outdated. Let me know what you're going to move towards, or what are you doing now to better prepare yourself. Time to brag. Why not? Tell me all the great things that you're doing to stay ahead of artificial intelligence and to basically better your world in the future. Anyway, again, hit the like and subscribe. We're going to keep reading all this truth between lines.
Between the lines.